Well, ever since Rishi Sunak became Conservative leader and Prime Minister, you've had a bit of a weird phenomenon that I feel that he's been given a far easier ride than the likes of Boris Johnson and Liz Truss received, which is somewhat surprising given that Boris Johnson had obviously led Conservative MPs to that big majority at a general election and was actually pretty good at winning elections, and Liz Truss at least won a vote of the Conservative members. But it seems Conservative MPs are willing to basically overlook anything in terms of Rishi Sunak's performance on the basis that they just think it would look ridiculous to change leader again. And to some extent, they're right, of course. But isn't it more ridiculous to ignore the mounting barrage of evidence that Rishi Sunak actually is just totally ineffective as a Prime Minister and a leader, and that if they were judging him on his merits, there would certainly be a leadership challenge. We've seen his own pollster, Will Dry, resigning as a SPAD, apparently. Now doing polling on behalf of the Conservative Britain Alliance, Harry Cole reports there. And interesting in this quote from Sunak's former pollster, they're on course for at least a decade of Labour rule, and that if Nigel Farage comes back, the Conservative Party essentially won't exist by Christmas. Now, you have had, and I think he's pretty brave actually for doing this, Simon Clarke coming out with a bit of a reality check, as far as I can see, in terms of what the prospects for the Conservatives currently are at the next general election, hitting out at Sunak's uninspiring leadership. And as I said, there's a mountain of evidence now that this is the case. Just look at the latest YouGov poll and you see, again, if this had been under Boris Johnson or Liz Truss, there would have been mainstream media journalists all over the place. The narrative would have been that these leaders are failing, that they're not turning it around, that they're leading the Tories to disaster, and that surely it's reasonable for there to be at least a conversation and potentially a leadership challenge. Strangely, with Rishi Sunak, that hasn't really emerged yet for whatever reason. But you can just look at the evidence here. The Conservatives on 20%, Labour on more than double that level of support on 47%, 27-point lead. The Lib Dems on 8%, the Greens on 6%. But you see there, yet again, another record shown for Reform UK on 13%. For the second week in a row is the highest vote share YouGov have recorded for the party today. And as ever, regular viewers of this channel will know I like to dig into the data, into these figures. And what you see is that over a quarter now of those who voted Conservative at the last general election, 26% of those who voted Tory in 2019 are now backing Reform, as are 27% of Leavers. Now consider this, Reform UK just 7 points behind the Tories in this latest YouGov Westminster poll. And the evidence has been that if Nigel Farage was to return, certainly that is worth a few points minimum bump in terms of support for Reform UK. And indeed, that would likely draw even more support away from the Tories. So now it's not inconceivable that you could have a situation pretty sharpish where Reform UK could be level pegging with the Tories going into the next general election. And consider this, you have on the 15th of February, 2 by-elections, one in Kingswood and particularly Wellingborough, where Reform UK will be looking to put in some big showings in terms of those by-election results. But look, that's how things stand right now. The Tories on 20%, Reform UK on 13%. How much more can Reform UK go up? And how much lower will the Tories fall under Rishi Sunak's leadership? Let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below, please, guys. I will keep bringing you all the latest on this and more, of course. So please do whack this video a quick thumbs up. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.